Good morning. It's Friday, January 30th, National Croissant Day. Oh my God. Like a buttery croissant and then a nice cup of tea. Don't judge me on how I'm saying the word. I'm from San Diego, America's finest city. I'm from Oceanside. That's how we say it there. I'm saying it sounds nice. A nice buttery croissant, a little cup of tea in my pajamas. I think I just want to be in my pajamas right now. That's what I'm looking for. We're going to be cat heavy in this show, by the way. This cat is going to be in this episode. If you're watching it or if you're hearing it, this cat's going to be around. We're going to have to deal with it. And now the news. Starting in Iran, where now that the president has learned the word armada, he is threatening Iran with a, quote, massive armada. He also said that he could mount an attack, quote, with speed and violence. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. He is threatening Iran. How can we stop this from happening? How can Iran stop this from happening? He says all Iran has to do is make a deal. Just make one. What kind of deal? Can't say. It's secret. She goes to another school. So Trump is saying, just to sum it up, Trump is threatening Iran with an attack of some sort, armada or speed and violence, combination. He's saying the only way to prevent this is for Iran to make a deal with the United States, but he won't say the details of the deal. Quite the place to be in right now. United States and European officials, however, say that there have been talks, and in those talks, there are 3 demands being put to the country. The first one is to stop the enrichment of all uranium and dispose of all current stockpiles. The next is to limit the range and number of ballistic missiles. And finally, end all support for proxy groups in the Middle East, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis that operate in Yemen. It's a pretty strong list, I would say. Now, you may recall, let's talk about something that's not on the list, because you may recall a few weeks ago, Trump was very upset about Iran's reaction to the protests that were happening there. Iranians had taken to the street to protest the government, and in reaction, the government has killed what they say is 3,117 people. But the number could be up to 20,000. That's according to human rights groups. 20,000 people in just 2 weeks. Trump, ever the fan of free speech, especially when it comes to speaking out against the government, threatened Iran with a strong military action in response to protect the protesters. Let them say what they want about the government, he said. Free speech is the backbone of democracy, he cried, a single tear falling down his cheek, wiping away his makeup to reveal totally normal-looking skin. But that was weeks ago. Trump hasn't said anything about the protesters that he vowed that he alone could save since then. Nor is anything about the protesters in the deal that the United States and European officials are talking about. Interesting. Sounds like in addition to the armada, Trump has been presented with many options for action in the country, including carrying out raids inside of Iran. Classic Mr. No Wars over there, now threatening war and boots on the ground in Iran. Literally, the man whose biggest grudge in the entire world right now, besides every other grudge he has, which are also all of his biggest grudges because he has so many of them, is that he doesn't have a Nobel Peace Prize, took to his ironically titled Truth Social to say, quote, as I told Iran once before, make a deal! They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, end quote. It's not funny, but when he says that dumb thank you for your attention to this matter, it gets me every time. I don't know why. Anyway, so that's where things stand. Just something to be aware of on a Friday. Enjoy your weekend. In fairly obvious news, but hey, at least now there's proof, a federal appeals court ruled on Wednesday that Kristi Noem exceeded her authority when she ended the temporary protected status of hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans here in America. Now, this really doesn't do anything to her. There are no consequences for actions right this very second because the Supreme Court needs to take a look at this case, and they will do so in October. However, this does add to a different case against her. The case being, hey, is she about to be fired for how terribly she's acting and all the ways that her ICE agents keep murdering people? Could be. I don't know. It also helps in a different literal case, as a federal judge in Washington is likely to rule any day now on whether to pause the termination of the temporary protected status designation for Haiti, while a separate court case challenging this status proceeds. So it's possible that this ruling may influence that one. We'll see. Meanwhile, over in Minnesota, Tom Homan, the White House border czar, I know the word is czar, but it's spelled very silly, held a press conference and has vowed to uphold the current immigration enforcement operation. Yuck. But says that he wants, quote, common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here, end quote. What does that mean? He also said, quote, we are not surrendering our mission at all. We are just doing it smarter, end quote. Uh-oh. I gotta be honest, to me that sounds like, well, first of all, it sounds like, can't be that hard. We are not talking about the best and brightest leading this mission or anything to do with this administration. So doing anything smarter is not hard, but their mission is white nationalism. So them saying they're gonna do it smarter is chilling. Homan says the federal authorities will leave the state when local and state authorities begin to cooperate. The beatings will end when morale improves. Didn't really explain what changes he would be making, just there apparently will be some. So I think overall this is just a good reminder that simply because Trump put a new face in charge, it doesn't mean that suddenly he was like, oh, whoops, I changed my mind, I don't want to do white nationalism. He has wanted to this whole time. He's wanted to since he started his campaign the first time he ran for president. This is literally what he ran on the first time. Remember, they're not sending us their best. That was what he said about people coming here from Mexico back in 2015. This is like his thing. Long ties and white nationalism. He thinks he can fool us just because he put one person different. So we need to stay more vigilant than ever. And then kind of keeping on the topic of ICE and also staying vigilant, the Democrats struck a deal with the White House to prevent a partial shutdown by separating a vote on Homeland Security funding at large from a vote from funding DHS. The vote on funding DHS will take place in 2 weeks. I wonder what our country will look like in 2 weeks. And finally, hey, you know how people love to get into public service to be of service to the public? You know how that is the case? Well, what if, I'm going to blow your mind here, but what if I told you that some people, not everyone, but some people actually do it for the money. They do it for the grift. On Thursday, Donald Trump, you're going to be shocked that this story is about Donald Trump. I know that, but hear me out. On Thursday, Donald Trump, as well as Eric Trump, Donald Jr., and the Trump administration at large sued the IRS and the Treasury Department, accusing the agencies of failing in their, quote, duty to safeguard and protect plaintiffs' confidential tax returns and related tax information from such unauthorized inspection and public discourse, end quote. Hey, boys, didn't your dumb dad hire an absolute bottom feeder creep who, as a reminder, did a Nazi salute very publicly to start Doge? And it actually, which was not a real department in the government, and actually leaked a bunch of data as well as put everyone's social security information in an insecure cloud? Didn't that happen? And I don't mean like a cloud that's shy, that doesn't know if this shirt works with their pants. I'm saying a cloud that anybody could hack. There's what a stupid joke that is. It's Friday. They say and it's literally Friday. I'm recording this at like 12:02, so that's hence this tone. They say that the release of the Trump family tax returns, which every president has released their tax returns since 1976 in reaction to President Nixon, who seems pretty tame now considering he wasn't even impeached. He just quit. Trump's been impeached twice. He could be impeached more times. I can name 2 more crimes right now off the top of my head that he could be impeached for if anyone cared to do anything. Anyway, the suit says that the release of the tax returns caused, quote, reputational and financial harm, public embarrassment, unfairly tarnished their business reputations, portrayed them in a false light, and negatively affected President Trump and the other plaintiffs' public standing. End quote. Nope, it didn't come from the tax return. I can assure you that the public humiliation, the general, we don't like them, the no thank yous of it all doesn't come from the tax returns. No one was like, I like these Trump boys. They seem normal and safe to have an open drink around until your tax returns came out. The ladies were not lining up for Eric Trump until the tax returns came out. We're putting up posters of this guy on our wall, and then we saw the tax returns here, pal. But okie doke. Whatever. By the way, they're suing for $10 billion. I'm going to say it again because this is something. The president is suing his own IRS and Treasury Department for $10 billion. This thing is not going to go anywhere for a lot of reasons. But one of them is, baby boys, I can't stress this enough. These tax returns are not the first, nor will they be the last thing to have caused your public embarrassment. I would say your life is, that's not mean enough. I was going to say that's too mean as like a joke, but it's not mean enough. Anyway, I don't know how to end this story. Imagine. That's all. And that's it. That's the news. I'm proud of croissants. All carbs, really. Eat the carbs. Also, the cat, she was just like, I'm here for the news. And then heard enough of it, was like, I'm out of here. I don't know if it was the news or if she was like, I'm going to have to listen to you edit this episode. I don't need to be here for it. Whatever. Anyway, eat the carbs. Who cares? Go for it. But more than a carb, more than all of the carbs, because you are also worth it. I'm proud of you.